Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something pretty common, maybe even a bit annoying. Nail fungus.
Yeah, that thinged, yellowy, brittle look. Most people just think, it's a surface thing.
Exactly. Just something you treat locally.
Hmm.
But what if that's, well, missing the bigger picture?
What if the real key to getting ahead of it isn't just on your nail, but actually deep inside, like in your gut?
It sounds a bit out there at first, doesn't it? We're so used to the creams, the pills, aimed right at the nail.
Totally. And that's why this is, so interesting. We've gathered a bunch of sources, studies, articles, research papers, all pointing to this really fascinating hidden connection.
Between your digestion and stubborn nail problems.
Exactly. So our mission here is to sort of unpack all that for you. We'll walk through these sources, connect the dots, and really show you what the science is suggesting about this gut-nail link.
Think of it as getting the essentials without wading through all the dense material yourself.
Right. And hopefully it'll give you a totally new way to think about nail fungus, maybe even your overall health.
Definitely. So let's dive in.
Okay.
All right, first things first. Let's just establish what we're talking about. Onychomycosis. That's the technical term for nail fungus.
Super common. Affects what? Something like 10% of people globally?
Yeah, it's widespread. And traditionally, like we said, the treatment is direct. Hit the fungus where it lives, on the nail. Topical, sometimes oral meds.
Right, the standard playbook. But what these sources are really highlighting is that for a lot of people, especially those who get it again and again.
The ones where it just won't quit.
Yeah. For them, it might not just be bad luck or, picking something up from the shower floor.
It's often a sign, a symptom.
That's the emerging view, a symptom of something deeper going slightly wrong inside, an internal imbalance.
And the research is pointing squarely at the gut.
Mm-hmm.
And the immune system tied.
Precisely. The things that actually cause the infection, the dermatophytes, yeasts like Candida, other molds, they're fundamentally opportunistic.
Meaning they need an opportunity, like a weakness.
Exactly. They take hold and they thrive when your body's internal environment, its defenses, are somehow compromised.
Okay, so if we're talking internal environment, body defenses,
Mm-hmm.
where's the ground zero for that?
It has to be the gut. I mean, this is really the heart of the gut-immune connection that the sources emphasize.
Right, isn't there some crazy statistic, like a huge chunk of the immune system is actually in the gut?
It's staggering. The sources consistently cite around 70%. 70. Located right there in your digestive tract.
Wow, 70%. It kind of makes sense, though, when you think about it. It's where we meet the outside world constantly through everything we eat and drink.
It's the main interface, the front line. And all those trillions of microbes living there, bacteria, fungi, viruses, the whole microbiome, they're not just hanging out.
They're doing something.
They're actively training your immune system, educating it, modulating it, keeping it balanced.
Like teaching it when to fight and when to chill out.
That's basically it. Immune homeostasis. That's the scientific term for that balance.
So, okay, if that whole complex ecosystem down there gets thrown off balance, what happens then?
Well, that's what we call gut dysbiosis. It's an imbalance, fewer good guys, maybe more of the potentially problematic ones.
And that's not just a local gut problem, right?
Not at all. And this is critical, backed up by reviews and studies referenced in our material. Dysbiosis doesn't just stay in the gut. It can trigger systemic inflammation.
Throughout the whole body.
Yeah, and it can lead to a generally compromised or sort of confused immune function everywhere.
So it's like the body's overall security system gets weakened or distracted because of trouble in the gut.
That's a great way to put it. You're essentially creating a vulnerability across the board.
Okay, let's really connect the dots then. How exactly does this gut trouble make someone more prone to getting, say, fungus on their toenails? What are the pathways the sources describe?
There are a few key mechanisms that come up repeatedly in the research. First, that compromised immune surveillance we just touched on.
The weakened security system.
Right. A healthy gut helps produce these broad defense molecules, things like antimicrobial peptides, certain antibodies that circulate everywhere. They help keep opportunistic bugs in check wherever they might try to get a foothold, including your nails.
So if the gut's off, there's less of that general protection floating around.
Exactly. The whole defense network is just less effective. Second, gut dysbiosis is strongly linked to chronic low-grade inflammation systemically.
Not the helpful kind, like when you get a cut, but this sort of background noise inflammation.
Precisely. A constant low-level internal simmering. And the sources explain this can actually damage tissues over time, including the barriers like your skin and your nail plate, makes them less resilient.
Kind of like weakening the fortress wall, making it easier to breach.
You got it, makes them more susceptible to fungal invasion. And third, sometimes dysbiosis involves an overgrowth of yeast, especially candida, in the gut.
Which is normally there in small amounts, right?
Yeah, it's part of the natural flora. But when it overgrows due to imbalance, it can sometimes become more invasive, maybe even systemic to a degree.
And that internal candida issue can then show up elsewhere.
It can predispose you to fungal infections popping up on surfaces like skin, mouth, and yes, nails.
So the nail fungus might actually be a satellite problem from a primary yeast issue deeper inside.
It's definitely a possibility highlighted in the sources. And finally, there's nutrient absorption.
Ah, right. If the gut's not healthy.
It struggles. An inflamed or imbalanced gut lining doesn't absorb nutrients efficiently. And we need certain nutrients specifically for healthy skin, strong nails, and a robust immune system. Think zinc, selenium, B, vitamins.
So a deficiency caused by poor gut absorption could make nails weaker and lower your immunity to the fungus.
Exactly. It's like a double whammy. The gut issues undermine both the structure of the nail and the body's ability to defend it.
Wow. Okay, so it's attacking from multiple angles.
Yeah.
This isn't just theoretical, though. You mentioned studies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The evidence is building. For instance, there was a 2022 study in the Journal of Clinical Medicine. They looked specifically at the gut microbiomes of people who had recurrent nail fungus.
The stubborn cases again.
Right. And they found significant differences compared to healthy controls. Less diversity of good bacteria, more microbes linked to inflammation. Their gut ecosystems were measurably different.
Demonstrably different. Okay.
And then there's other research, like studies published in the International Journal of Dermatology, connecting chronic fungal infections with increased intestinal permeability.
That's the leaky gut idea.
That's the one where the gut lining becomes too porous, letting things like bacterial toxins leak into the bloodstream that shouldn't. This triggers wider inflammation and immune reactions that can, kind of paradoxically, weaken specific defenses elsewhere.
And you also mentioned the microbiome, the fungi in the gut.
Yeah, that's a fascinating newer area, the fungal community inside us. Research is suggesting that imbalances there in our internal fungal population can actually influence fungal communities on our skin and nails, too.
So the fungi inside influence the fungi outside.
Oh.
Wild. Okay, let's shift to something practical. Diet. Obviously, what we eat hits the gut directly. What do the sources say about food?
This is huge. Diet is a major lever. Some foods definitely seem to, well, fuel the fire for dysbiosis and fungal issues.
Like what? Sugar?
Sugar and refined carbs are top of the list. They're like fertilizer for the bad gut bacteria and yeasts, especially candida. Some studies even link high sugar diets directly to higher rates of fungal infections.
Wow. So your sweet tooth could literally be feeding the fungus on your feet.
It's more connected than we usually think. Processed foods are also flagged. They tend to lack fiber, which good bacteria need, and often contain additives that can disrupt the microbiome.
Okay, so ditch the junk food. What else? Alcohol.
Alcohol gets a mention too. It can damage the gut lining, promote harmful bacteria, and we should also talk about antibiotics.
Right. Necessary sometimes, but they don't discriminate, do they?
Exactly. They can wipe out beneficial bacteria along with the target infection, creating this void, an opportunity for fungi, which aren't affected by antibiotics, to overgrow.
We all know antibiotics can mess with your stomach, but seeing that direct link to fungal vulnerability elsewhere, it really underscores the systemic impact.
It does. But the good news is, diet can also be a powerful tool for helping.
Okay, what should we be eating more of then?
The sources point strongly towards prebiotic foods. These feed your beneficial gut bacteria. Think garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, Jerusalem artichokes. A lot of these also happen to have natural antifungal properties too.
Double benefit. What about probiotics?
Definitely. Fermented foods are great sources. Things like kefir, unsweetened yogurt with live cultures, sauerkraut, kimchi. They introduce beneficial bacteria directly.
Helping to repopulate the good guys?
Right. And then there are specific foods with known natural antifungal compounds. Coconut oil comes up a lot, oregano, turmeric, ginger.
So using your diet becomes almost like a therapeutic strategy in itself.
That's precisely the idea. It's not just about eating healthy in general. It's about strategically supporting your gut to fight back.
Which really brings us to the core message in these sources. The holistic approach.
Yeah.
Treating from the inside out.
Exactly. Once you understand this gut-nail connection, just slapping cream on the nail seems well, incomplete, especially for those chronic cases.
It's like only dealing with the smoke, not the fire.
Perfect analogy. The sources really push for strategies that target the root causes.
So it's a real shift in thinking. What are the main pillars of this holistic strategy based on the materials?
It boils down to about three main things. First, gut restoration. Actively healing and rebalancing your gut. Diet's key here, maybe targeted probiotics, other lifestyle factors.
Okay, gut first. What's second?
Immune support. Since so much immunity is tied to the gut, strengthening your overall immune function is crucial. That means good nutrition, managing stress, getting enough sleep.
Right, supporting the body's natural defenses. And third,
Targeted external care. You still need to deal with the fungus that's already on the nail, especially while you're doing the internal work.
so it's not ignoring the nail completely. You're fighting it on two fronts.
Exactly. Healing the inside environment while managing the outside symptom. The sources did mention examples of external support for this.
Right, like natural oils.
Yeah, the sources talk about complementing the internal healing with external products, often mentioning natural oil blends formulated for nail and skin health as examples.
And the idea there.
The idea is, while you're rebuilding your internal defenses, fixing the gut, boosting immunity using something externally helps keep the fungal load down on the nail itself. It provides support at the site of the infection.
Okay, so it works with the internal changes, not instead of them.
Yeah.
What kind of ingredients did the sources mention are typically in these?
Well, the materials pointed out that these often use natural compounds known for antifungal or skin-soothing properties. Tea tree oil is a common one, known for being antifungal. Others might nourish the nail and surrounding skin.
Makes sense? Supporting the area directly?
Yeah, and the sources suggest they can offer that localized help and could even be part of a maintenance plan later on to discourage things from coming back once your internal health is better.
Got it. External help is a partner to the main internal effort. Okay, beyond diet, what other lifestyle factors came up in the research connecting gut and nails?
Stress. Big one. We know chronic stress messes with the gut microbiome and suppresses immune function. It's well documented.
So finding ways to manage stress is actually part of treating nail fungus.
According to this holistic view, absolutely. Practices like meditation, deep breathing, yoga, even just regular moderate exercise, they're vital for keeping stress in check, which helps your gut and immune system.
And sleep. I imagine that's important too.
Hugely important. Poor sleep quality, or just not enough sleep, disrupts the gut microbiome and definitely impairs your immune cells' ability to function properly. Aiming for that solid 7-9 hours a night is key.
It's amazing how it's all linked. Stress affects gut, gut affects immunity, immunity affects your toenails.
The connections are really clear when you look at the research, and of course, basic hygiene still matters.
Like keeping feet clean and dry.
Yeah, and disinfecting tools.
Mm-hmm.
It won't fix the internal root cause, but it helps prevent reinfection or spreading it while your body is working on healing from the inside. Reducing exposure to harsh chemicals or super damp environments helps too.
Okay, so given that we're talking about healing the gut, rebalancing immunity, this is a quick fix, right? Like you don't just take a pill and it's gone tomorrow.
Definitely not. Patience is really important here. This is about restoring balance, and that takes time.
What does a realistic timeline look like based on the sources?
They give a general outline. In the first, say, 1 to 4 weeks, you might notice some initial internal shifts, maybe better digestion, a bit more energy as the gut starts healing. Any external treatment might show some early effects on the nail surface, too.
So feeling better inside might come before seeing major nail changes.
Often, yes. Because visible nail changes depend on new, healthy nail growing out, which is slow. So by months 2 to 3, that's when you'd expect to see more noticeable improvement as the microbiome gets healthier, and you start seeing clear nail growth from the base.
Pushing the old affected nail out.
Exactly. Then months 4 to 6 usually bring more substantial improvement, both in how you feel gut-wise and how the nail looks. Your underlying resilience is building, making reinfection less likely.
And for getting fully clear nails and keeping them that way.
You're often looking at months 6 to 12 for complete healthy nail regrowth and really solidifying that gut health. The goal isn't just to clear the current infection, but to build strong internal defenses so it doesn't come back easily. Sustainable health.
Right. Which leads perfectly into prevention. If the root cause is often internal, how does prevention look different through this lens?
Well, prevention becomes less about just avoiding external fungus and more about continuously maintaining your internal health, your gut health, your immune function.
So it's an ongoing commitment.
Yeah, basically the same strategies you used for treatment become your prevention plan. Consistently eating that gut-supportive diet, Lots of fiber, prebiotics, probiotics, limiting the sugar and processed stuff, making stress management and good sleep regular habits, not just temporary fixes.
The treatment is the prevention, essentially.
In large part, yes, it's about building that lasting resilience. And the sources also suggest that maybe using some natural external support periodically, like those oils we mentioned, could be part of a proactive maintenance routine to discourage fungus from taking hold on the surface.
Like an extra layer of protection?
Kind of, and also just being more aware. Understanding the link means you might recognize early signs of internal imbalance sooner and can take steps before it potentially leads to something like nail fungus.
This sounds like a really comprehensive strategy. But should someone try to navigate all this on their own, or is professional guidance still important?
Oh, professional guidance is definitely recommended. This holistic approach is powerful, but it works best alongside, not instead of, conventional medical advice.
So, who would you ideally work with?
A functional medicine practitioner could be great for digging deep into gut health, maybe running specific tests. And a dermatologist is still essential for confirming the diagnosis, monitoring the nail itself, and ruling out other conditions that might look similar.
Right. And what kind of tests might be helpful here?
The sources mentioned a few. Comprehensive stool tests can give you a really detailed picture of your microbiome who's living in there, any imbalances, inflammation markers.
So you know exactly what you're dealing with in the gut.
Yeah. Blood tests can check for nutrient deficiencies like that zinc or selenium we talked about that could be impacting nail health or immunity. And of course, getting a fungal culture from the nail confirms it is fungus and sometimes what type.
Getting that personalized information seems key.
It really helps tailor the approach.
This whole area, looking at the body as this interconnected web, feels like it's moving fast. What's sort of on the horizon for treating fungal issues from this perspective?
It's definitely an exciting field. Research is looking into things like highly specific probiotic strains, maybe engineered to directly combat certain fungi or support gut barrier function more effectively.
Like targeted microbial reinforcements.
Exactly. And personalized nutrition is another big one, using detailed microbiome analysis to create diet plans unique to your gut needs. Plus, more research into combining these internal strategies smartly with external treatments.
Personalized medicine based on your gut bugs.
Wow. Yeah, it's all part of this growing field sometimes called microbiome medicine, really understanding how the fungal communities in and on us influence health and disease.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this deep dive up. The big takeaway from sifting through all these sources seems to be nail fungus. It's often not just skin deep.
That's the core message. For many people, especially with persistent cases, it's a signpost, a visible indicator of deeper stuff going on, particularly with gut health and immune balance.
And tackling it effectively means going beyond just the surface symptom.
Right. The power of this holistic approach lies in addressing those root causes, healing the gut, supporting immunity, while also using that targeted external care. It offers a much better shot at lasting results and preventing recurrence.
More comprehensive, more sustainable relief.
Absolutely. And, taking care of your gut and immune system, that benefits everything, not just your nails. It's really an investment in your overall resilience and well-being.
Definitely. This whole exploration really highlights how incredibly connected everything in the body is. As a final thought for our listener, drawing from this research, what's something to really chew on?
Maybe just this. Consider how understanding these connections, like the surprising link between your gut and your nails, changes how you view your own health. It empowers you, right? To see your body less like separate parts that break down in isolation and more like this amazing integrated system.
A system that wants to heal.
Exactly. A system with this incredible capacity for balance and renewal, especially when you give it the right support. It kind of reframes health not as just fixing problems, but as this ongoing journey of nurturing yourself from the inside out.